if you have a problem, just put a little X by it. We'll talk about it later on. Or we'll schedule some time for us to sit down and talk about it a little bit. Alright, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to take a look at nth roots. Does anybody know what an nth root is? Alright, so does anybody know what a square root is?
Yeah.
Alright, so we know that what's a square root?
Half or something?
No, it's not half of something.
Same two numbers.
Double.
Yeah.
Right, so
Two double numbers.
that's a square, right? So if we have x squared, we know that that is x times x. But we could have more than x squared. We could have x to the third power, which is equal to
X times X times X.
all right. But if we have we have to find a way to express this if we don't know what this is, right? So how we express that is by saying it's the nth root. So we have 2, which is the square root, and if we have a number a, which will be, or number, let's put x squared, we have, what it's saying is that we have to find a number when multiplied by itself gives us x squared, and that number is x. All right. So how we express this is as follows. We express it as a and n, where a is any real number, all right, and n is our exponent. So therefore, we could have any root. We could say, okay, well, you know what? We want the 7th root of 821.
So
what we're looking for is a number that when we multiply by itself 7 times, we will get 821. That's the same like saying we got the 4th root of 16. What's the 4th root of 16? 2, because we want a number when multiplied by itself 4 times to give us 16. So we're trying to find that number. So we're given this number, and what we want to find is our x. Alright, any questions so far? Anybody? Alright. So
You supposed to be taking notes?
not yet. We're about to take notes in a minute. So this is what we're going to do. Our objective today, we're going to calculate roots of real numbers, higher than just square roots. So we're not just going to talk about square roots, we're going to talk about 4th roots, 5th roots, 10th roots, and how we can apply them when we have our numbers. Alright, so here we go. So now you can start taking notes. So we have our nth root.
Sound right here.
So you can extend the concept of a square root to other types of roots. For example, 2 is a cube root of 8. Because we know that 2 cubed is equal to 8. 2 to the 4th power equals 16, that's the 4th root. 2 to the 5th power equals 32 is the 5th root. Because what it's essentially saying is that we're multiplying 2 by itself 4 times to get 16. We're multiplying 2 by itself 5 times to get 32. Or in other words, here we go. So we have the square root of 4 is equal to 2. The cube root of 8 is equal to 2. Or the 4th root of 16 is equal to 2.
What?
So, number of real nth roots. So the thing that happens is that when you want to find, when you're looking for your roots, you're either going to have 1 or 2 answers. Sometimes you get 1 answer, sometimes you get 2. Or sometimes you get none. And this is what it's explaining here. So if you're n, and if we look at the formula that we have over there, if n is odd, and you have your a is any real number, you only get 1 root. That means that you only have 1 answer, 1 solid answer to it. If we're looking for the cube root of 8, we know that the only 1 answer we can get is 2. That's the only answer we can get. Same as the cube root of -1 is -1. So now, can somebody tell me why the cube root of -1 will be -1?
You gotta wait till I write this chart.
Why is the cube root of -1 equal to -1?
Because it's -1.
There is a root. That's the root. That's the real root.
Because 1 times 1 is 1.
Man, wake up. Come on.
Because 1 times 1 is 1.
Yeah, 1 times 1 is 1. Yeah.
The root of 1 is
But why is it negative? Why is the cube root negative? With the cube root, how many times? What number is saying we have to multiply the number by itself how many times?
That sound right.
3 times. So if you multiply a number by itself 3 times, you will still get the sign, right? So if you multiply negative 1 by itself 3 times, what's the sign? The sign will be negative. Everybody see that?
No. Oh, yes.
All right. So that's one of the things with your odd roots. Because it's odd, the sign will stay. The sign can change. You can find the root of a negative number because it's odd. All right. So if your number is greater than 0, and your n is even. If n is even, your number 8 is greater than 0. You have 2 roots. Can anybody tell me why you have 2 roots? Because yes, you have the positive and the negative. Because what's the value of the square root of 4? What's the square root of 4?
2.
2. What's another value for the square root of 4? Negative 2. Because what happens when you multiply a negative by a negative? It becomes positive, so that's going to be 4. So it says here when it's even, your n is even, your number is greater than 0, you have 2 roots, and it's always your positive and your negative.
So for a square root, it's always 2 answers?
For a square root, is always 2 answers. For anyone that's even, for a 4th root is 2 answers, for a 6th root is 2 answers, 8th root, 10th root.
So it's only even numbers?
Only even numbers that you have 2 answers. For odd numbers, you only have 1 root.
So why does it start with negative?
Here? They put a negative in to show that there's a negative 2 in there. Alright? So, if it's even and you have and it's 0, how many roots do you have? 1, because the square root of 0 is? What's the square root of 0?
1.
0.
Nah, damn, my fault, sorry.
What's the 4th root of 0? 0. What's the 10th root of 0? 0. So it's all 0. It doesn't matter, it's all 0. Alright? And if it's less than 0, that means that it's has a negative in there. There are no roots because you can't find the even root of a negative number. And why? Because of the same principle. Because whenever you have an even number, if you multiply a negative times a negative, you will always get a positive. There is no way you can get a negative. Did you put one in there for Rashika? Okay. All right, so I'm going to give you all a couple minutes here. Y'all take that down, and then we'll get into some examples. Find the indicator nth root of A. What's the nth root of A? If we have negative 64, look at it right here. So we want to find a number that when we multiply it by itself 3 times, we get negative 64. What's that number? If you get that, you get that, and then I'll show you on the calculator how you work it out.
Oh my God.
So a number when multiplied by itself 3 times gives you a negative 64. Not just 4, but negative 4. Very good. All right. So why is it negative 4? Because we just saw that in the notes.
Damn, though. You ain't very good. I answered the question right.
Very good. Then you got 4, and then
You put 4 in the test, it'd have been wrong, right?
Yeah. You
Okay,
no,
so
I didn't give you extra credit.
Huh?
I didn't give you credit for it.
Yeah,
Well,
I got the whole point though.
The B is
And
3.
the answer for B is
3.
3. Not just 3, but
Negative 3.
not just negative 3.
It's just 3.
It's not just 3.
Positive 3.
No,
It's
3
Square root 3.
It's what? It's
3.
both positive and negative 3.
What?
Yes, because remember, what did we say? What did we say?
I can't see the board.
Even number. So we have an even number. We have a number greater than 0. We have an even root.
I gotta ask you something about this.
Right? And a negative times a negative is a positive. So it's going to be both positive 3 and negative 3.
That's the one.
That's the answer. So now, for that one, if you miss one, then you get half a point. Alright, so here's the cube root. The cube root. Because n is odd, negative 64 has one real cube root. Alright, so the cube root of 64 is negative 4. And we know that if we multiply negative 4 by itself 3 times, we get negative 64. And for part B, because n is even and a is greater than 0, 81 has 2 real fourth roots. And those 2 real roots are the positive and the negative. So it's positive 3 and negative 3. Alright, no, these are examples. Make sure you understand and see what's happening. Alright? So we have both positive and negative 3. But so those rules in that box, pay close attention to them.
So what is positive as?
Yes, when it's even. Not positive, but when it's even. When this is even and this is greater than 0, we have 2 real roots. Okay. So we know that 3 times 3 times 3, 3 to the 4th power is equal to 81. And also, if we do it in the negative, it's also equal to 81. So the positive times the positive is a negative. I mean, that negative times the negative is a positive.
You sold them.
A positive times a positive is a what?
Negative.
A negative? Okay, well in your world it's a negative. A positive times a positive is a positive.
Yeah.
Alright, same sign, positive, opposite sign, negative. Alright, so here we go. So try these two. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Try these two. Quickly. Come on.
She's still in your battle.
Right. And she did it the last time. Come on.
Look.
I did one last time.
Can you put it down? Thank you.
What fuck I need to steal that? I need those.
Give me 2 then.
No, I need 3.
Burnt out. Oh, the answer 1. Yes, it is. Very good. He said 2 to the 3rd power equals 8 right here. And what to the 4th power equals 1 besides 1?
3 times.
Come on, see me.
The
fuck is like, you retarded, like, and you be thinking I'm dumb, like, no, your shit sick.
How you find out on the calculator? Just a minute, please.
Stop doing that.
And you put it.
That shit work. Hey, there she goes.
It's allowed. Can you come here real quick?
Evan, come on, man. Such a cutie, right? Love the way you
do it.
What do you mean? Boy, stink. You smell like shit.
What number multiplied by itself 4 times?
Attention. See this girl? She smell like shit. Man, Tatiana Fletcher.
Why would they next to it?
She smell like 4 shit. Catch her any day of the week. What times 5? You might know your baby, right? 32.
Alright, so yeah, so find the background of
that's 1 8, 16, 24, 7. Think. What times what is 32? 4, 8, 12, 16. What times 5? What times 5? Yes. Wrong ass man. So it's no answer for right? Oh, you didn't show you didn't mean this answer? It's 314. It's only 302.
Okay, so we're gonna multiply.
I'm about to fix it.
When they do
I just want to know. I just need to know.
I need some eggs.
So you want to help me?
Marsha, what number you want?
31.
Right, but the first thing you have to do is
Hey, Mr. Chica.
I just need help to know what. I need help to know how to do it.
I don't know.
You want one to shoot in the gym?
now x power is equal to.
I Everybody knows 27, don't
so now you can put that in the calculator.
You know what it is.
So you find the fourth root of 216.
parentheses. 1.
Hey, Mr. Dinger, how you put the little line for the fraction?
Let me see. You divide.
Oh, alright.
Divide.
Alright, thank you.
Got it?
Yeah, I was right. This one. Hey, Jordan. Hey, Jordan. Hey, Jordan. I was right, Jordan. No, you did not. But I got divide.
Does he got any D1 columns?
256.
Boy, you got to fight the revenue.
256. Thank you.
Now you know how to do that.
Yeah, thank you.